Hi everyone, welcome back to Thinking Out Loud. My name is Michael Dada. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. One ongoing conversation right now is the proposed removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government. This has elicited reactions among Nigerians. So, what is fuel subsidy and how does it affect the rest of us? Subsidy, at least in this context, simply means that the government is paying part of the money every Nigerian ought to pay for a liter of fuel. For instance, if the cost of fuel ought to be 500 naira per liter, the government can decide to pay 300 naira out of that 500 so that you can buy fuel at 200 naira per liter. The 300 naira paid by the government for every liter of fuel is the subsidy because the government is paying the 300 naira on your behalf. The conversation now is that the government has been paying this subsidy for so long that it has become a burden. So the government wants you to start paying the 300 naira by yourself, which means instead of buying fuel at 200 naira, you will now buy it at 500. How did we even get here? It is no longer news that even though Nigeria is one of the world's leading oil producing countries, 95% of the refined petroleum used in Nigeria is imported. Meanwhile, the country owns 4 refineries, 2 in Port Harcourt, 1 in Warri, and 1 in Kaduna. The moribund state of these refineries is the primary reason fuel subsidy has persisted. If the refineries were working, or at least producing at a reasonable fraction of their installed capacity, the government will not need to pay marketers so much money to bring refined petroleum into the country, and there will be no subsidy. These marketers, engaged by the government to import refined petroleum, do the transaction in US dollars because that is the accepted currency in the global oil market. Since the marketers are buying in dollars, they will equally sell their product in dollars or get the dollar equivalent from the federal government. Subsidy began in the 1970s, precisely 1973, when Israel was at war with some countries in the Middle East who were the founding members of OPEC. That is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. The Middle East countries perceived that Israel had support from some countries in the West, like the United States. So they placed restrictions on global oil supply. The whole world felt the impact of this move, which was unprecedented. It was called the first oil shock. So in response to the shock felt around the world, the Nigerian government at the time introduced a shock absorber called subsidy. That's how subsidy became a thing in Nigeria. Now, fast forward to 2023, the government is considering taking off the shock absorber, probably because they believe now nothing should shock anyone in Nigeria anymore. I mean, what's shock? We've seen Shege. As it is now, when subsidy is removed, the price of petrol will move from the current price of 235 naira per liter and sell between 400 and 800 naira per liter.